Now, Mikel Arteta, despite that impressive win yesterday, feels they need to do a bit more business. James, Quansah and Konsa, still looking at that pair?
Yeah, two players of interest to Arsenal in this transfer window. We know William Saliba is missing right now. Yes, Arsenal have a number of defensive options, but there's injuries there with Saliba out injured, Timber's out missing for the next few weeks as well. We know Arsenal do maintain an interest. It's been a long-standing interest this summer in Ezri Konsa, but we know there's a significant gap in valuation between what Arsenal are willing to pay, which we think is around £30 million, and what Aston Villa want for him, which is around £60 million, bearing in mind some of the senior figures that have left that club this summer. Jarell Quansah, we reported that exclusively on Friday, that Arsenal had held talks with Bayer Leverkusen around the signing of Jarell Quansah, who's a slightly younger profile, 23 years of age, compared to Konsa, who turns 29 in November. It's our understanding that Bayer Leverkusen do not currently consider Jarell Quansah for sale. But the fact is, Mikel Arteta says they want to strengthen in this transfer window. When everyone's fit, there's going to be a massive stockpile of centre-backs and right-backs and left-backs.
But isn't that the point? Why would those two go there knowing that when everyone's fit, they're not going to play?
So, in terms of right-sided centre-back, it means that they can play there, but also they can play at right-back as well, because Ben White has had his injury issues, so's Jurrien Timber as well. And you think the profile of those players, the experience those players have built up, that they'd argue they could rival both Ben White and Jurrien Timber for that right-back spot. So it makes sense Arsenal signing versatile players. I think if you look at their squad depth and you look at all the options they have at centre-back, all those players can play in every position across the back line, or at least in two positions, apart from Gabriel. But you're not going to dislodge him. He's the best defender in the Premier League right now. So it would make a lot of sense in terms of signing a player who can play in multiple positions. I still think they've got a number of options in that defence. I think they've got the best squad in the Premier League right now. But I think it does show there are probably real concerns around how long William Saliba is missing for. If it was just a few weeks, you'd think they'd get by with the options they have. But clearly, he's going to be missing a few months, it seems.
Miles Lewis-Skelly, talk of him leaving. Surely not.
It doesn't look like that way right now when you consider the way he celebrated his goal in midweek in the last warm-up game they had, and then the assist he laid on for Calafiori in the first 30 seconds yesterday was incredible. It showed incredible vision. He's a player in his first season in the Premier League as a teenager, played on the left-hand side. He played left back for the whole season. Last season wasn't featuring heavily, but then in the back end of the last campaign, when Arsenal were looking to secure that title, it was he rather than Martin Zubimendi who played alongside Declan Rice. I think if Arsenal want to seriously strengthen in this transfer window and go after a big target like Julian Alvarez or even Bradley Barkley, who they hold interest in, then perhaps there may have to be a major sale to be able to do that and also sign another centre-back or right-back. But I think they'd really envy letting go of Miles Lewis-Skelly. The only benefit of selling a player like Miles Lewis-Skelly for big money would be its pure profit. He's an academy graduate. But I think they'd prefer to sell other players in that team, and Miles Lewis-Skelly would be low down that pecking order. The only thing is, Mikel Arteta has been asked about this a number of times. He's never said the player's not for sale. He's never gone out and said that, which he could easily have done. And while Arsenal aren't publicly stating he's not for sale, there will be speculation. But I think you can consider him a massive part of Mikel Arteta's first-team plans, bearing in mind what we've seen over the course of the last few weeks.
Can you see anybody stopping Arsenal this season?
No.
Why are Arsenal fans so pessimistic then?
I don't know. I don't know many of them. No, I know a lot of them. No, look. I think you look at it yesterday. Mikel Arteta said about he felt terrible that he couldn't give a place to Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus, Ethan Nwaneri. That just tells you just how strong Arsenal are looking. Should I have a look? Yeah, why not? Look at the Solis who they've signed. What a start he's made. That's not a bad start to your left-sided forward, is it? So, Martinelli might be leaving. We know they want potentially another left-sided forward. Gabriel Jesus, who I've just mentioned. Kai Havertz has done ever so well, hasn't he, over the last few years for Mikel Arteta. Victor Gyökeres, will he be stronger in the second season? Saka and Madueke, don't need to say anything about them. That midfield, you bring Bruno in there. I saw a picture of Bruno and next to Declan Rice earlier with them Community Shield medals. That is formidable. That is a formidable two in that midfield. And the defence, we were saying in the transfer show at 4 o'clock about being potentially a bit light I don't know. You know, they do bring in another defender. I think they look incredibly stocked. And Calafiore, Hincapié was a great signing last year. And what he does so well, Mikel Arteta, every defender can play in a couple of positions, you know. So David Raya's been one of the best goalkeepers over the last few years. What can you say, Mike? You know, they look very well stocked.
They do look stocked. Dowman got us all excited last season. Looking at that squad, he's not going to play, is he?
I'm sure he will.
I think he'll get opportunities this season.
Yeah.
Arsenal had 63 matches in all competitions last year. I think Ethan Nwaneri may struggle for minutes. There's been interest from clubs in signing him across Europe. One thing I will say is Arsenal have been looking for a left winger for a number of years. As far back as when they tried to sign Mykhailo Mudryk, he went to Chelsea in the end. But I think Christoph Solis has really surprised people this season. Last season, in all competitions, 50 goal contributions in 50 matches. Clearly that was in the Belgian Pro League. But already we saw his impact yesterday. 2 assists, he's had a really good pre-season. We know Arsenal were looking at Vinicius Junior, but I wonder if they look now and think, he's our man on the left-hand side of the pitch. Do we really need to invest in a left winger, or this season, do we give Solis a run of games on the left-hand side with Martinelli there?
Going forward and back, doesn't he?
Yeah, 100%. I think he looks like a real find. For £30 million, I think that could be one of the best signs of this transfer window.
I think it's 4 years ago I was in Orlando when covering Arsenal's pre-season tour with Chelsea at the same time, and we were signing Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus. And you just look at where Arsenal are now, you have to commend it, and they've got a lot more right than wrong in the transfer market. And yeah, look, you never know, Mike. You know, it's going to be a brilliant season. Can't wait for it to start. There's so many new head coaches, so many clubs have got so much to do. But we have to say it, they do look the strongest at the moment, but it doesn't always work out that way.
We said that about Liverpool when they brought all those players in, didn't we? And that didn't work.
And also clearly they're going to really go for the Champions League. Go one better this year. They're really going to go for it. And Mikel Arteta's always respected the domestic competitions.
Right, let's talk goal.
This is what we asked for your final table. So let's start with the teams at the top. What have you got?
Yeah, I've got Arsenal, Man City second, Liverpool third. I'm 50-50 with the fourth, yeah, because of Man United. Because I think Chelsea could finish in there. You know, like Man United didn't have Europe last season.
Right.
I think with Chelsea not having Europe, I think Chelsea have a good chance. So that is a 50-50. That can go either way. I think Tottenham will finish in the top 6. I think Villa, 7th. I think Forest will have a good season. I think Oliver Glasner, he's a top manager. What he did at Palace, I think they'll go from strength to strength. Everton. And now people have been critical of Newcastle. And I get it, but they're signing youngsters. I still think they've got a good enough squad to be finishing in that top 10. A lot of people are telling me, oh, could they be in trouble near the bottom? Absolutely zero chance. Not with those fans at St James's Park. So that's my top 10. What are you thinking?
I feel a bit sorry for you, right? Anyone doing predictions.
It's so hard.
This season, because anyone in 1st to 7th there could finish in any order.
Exactly.
Genuinely, this season, it feels more wide open than I can remember.
Exactly. Wait till you see the bottom. You'll feel even more sorry for me.
OK, so that was Clinton's predictions. We gave you a little sneak peek, didn't we, of the Opta computer. Dave, you've been studying this table as well, haven't you?
So Opta run the Premier League season 10,000 times. It's obviously based on team strength. It's based a little bit on the betting markets. It's also based on Opta's power rankings. You don't want me to go into power rankings, but basically the stronger clubs come higher in the division is the basic premise. So this is what the Opta supercomputer has chucked out, having run the season 10,000 times. Arsenal champions, followed by Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United in 4th, Aston Villa there in 5th, Chelsea in 6th, Newcastle there in 7th, Spurs under Roberto De Zerbi 8th, and Brighton and Bournemouth round out 9 and 10 there.
Versus the Opta supercomputer. Now it's time for round 2.
Can't wait. We want to know who you think might struggle this season, and can any of the newly promoted sides stay up? So before we see what the Opta supercomputer is saying, let's have a look at Clinton's predictions for the bottom half. OK, talk us through it, Clinton.
No, but let me tell you, this is not right, though.
Why?
Because Coventry are not going to get relegated.
Oh, wow, look at that.
No, I don't...